All right, I'd like to call the Fraser Valley Regional Hospital District Board meeting open to order. Ms. Kinnaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as has been our practice over the last little while, we do have a motion for your consideration with respect to holding this meeting exclusively in an online format due to the current global pandemic.
Mover and the seconder.
Moved Hamilton.
Director Blue and Director Hamilton. Moved by Director Blue, seconded by Director Hamilton. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next item is approval of the agenda, addenda, and late items.
For the motion, I can only see so many people on my screen.
Move Adamson.
Director Facio.
Adamson, second.
Moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Adamson. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried.
Next item is 3.1. We have the draft Fraser Valley Regional Hospital District Board meeting minutes of December 16th, 2020.
For a
Move
motion,
adoption, Lowen.
moved by Director Lowen, seconded by
Adamson.
Director Adamson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any? Motion is carried.
And we move down to reports from board directors, Mr. Chair.
Any reports from directors? Other than Dennis's mute button. Hearing none, on to the next item.
Next item is item 6, which is public question period for items relevant to the agenda. Due to the pandemic and our electronic environment, we've encouraged members of the public to submit their questions via email or call in. Ms. Van Ness, do we have anybody on the line for this meeting?
No, we do not currently have anybody on the line, and we have not received any email questions.
So with that, Mr. Chair, we would then move down to item 7, resolution to close the meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Director Facio, seconded by,
Lowen.
Adamson.
I saw you move. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried.
And we will recess this meeting and move over to the Fraser Valley Regional District Board and Chair Lum.
Thank you, and thank you, Chair Raymond. Welcome back, everybody, and to the open board meeting of the Fraser Valley Regional District for Thursday, January 28th. Happy New Year. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item.
First item, again, we do have this motion for your consideration with respect to the provincial health order and holding this meeting electronically.
Thank you. Just a question, Ms. Kinnaman. If we did not vote in favor of this item, does that mean we can just end our meeting and eat our dinner, or what happens with that?
You don't want to test me tonight, do you?
I don't want to test Ms. Kinnaman. That's moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Stobart. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Looking for approval of the agenda, addenda, and late items.
Moved.
Moved by Director Pranger, seconded by Director Raymond. Any additions, changes, errors? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
3.1, we have the draft Fraser Valley Regional District Board open meeting minutes of December 16th, 2020.
So moved.
Thank you. That's moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Dickey. A discussion on the minutes or any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
3.2, we have the draft Fraser Valley Regional District Committee of the Whole open meeting minutes from January 7th, 2021.
Dixon.
Thank you. It's moved by Director Dixon and seconded by Director Ross. Any questions, errors, omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
Next item is item 4, which are committee and commission minutes for information and matters arising. Happy if anyone wanted to separate any of those out and ask any questions at this time.
Thank you. And these are for information. So any questions on any of the minutes that were presented? Seeing none, let's move to the next item.
5.1, we have the Electoral Area Directors and Local Government Leadership Academy Forums, February 2nd to 4th, 2021.
Thank you. And would somebody like to move the
Adamson.
moved by Director Adamson, seconded by Director Raymond. Any discussion on the item?
Yeah, Adamson.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, I just want to say the conferences that are coming to us aren't what we're used to. They're not you go in person and you get so much more out of that. But I believe we have to support these associations and go even if it's not what we normally used to. So I'm very thankful we're doing that.
Thank you, Director Adamson. And I think the folks at the LGLA and the UBCM and the folks setting up the forums would wholeheartedly agree, and so do I. So I appreciate the support on this item as well. Any other comments or questions? Don't see any, or was that Director Raymond just waiting for the 7 p.m. alarm bells to go off there? Nope. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
6.1, we have the 2021-2025 financial plan. There's a motion for your consideration.
Thank you. And a mover and a seconder, please. Is that
So
moved
moved,
by-
Hamilton. Dixon.
Okay, I think I saw Director Raymond and seconded by Director Hamilton. Discussion.
Dixon.
Go ahead, Director Dixon.
I just wanted to pass along some accolades to the financial team in particular. I did send this out to my email list and heard back from the Columbia Valley Ratepayers Association president just about how impressed he was and such a thorough job. And he was a little bit in shock, right, to see all those 120 budgets and those that different type of things. So well done. He had just really nothing but positive feedback. So I thought I'd pass that on. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Dixon. Any other comments or questions from board members? I don't hear any, so I'd just like to also lend my thanks and appreciation to Ms. Lounsborough and the staff and the finance team, Ms. Kinnaman. It's not lost on me that Ms. Lounsborough, you just came to the regional district, fairly recently, but to face a budget of this magnitude right off the bat, and you rolled up your sleeves and you got to work on it, and you're still here, which is great. And it's not lost on me how very difficult regional district budgeting can be, and the hundreds of different budgets that you work through. And Ms. Hodson as well. I know both of your teams deserve all the credit that they're getting this evening. So thank you very much. And I also want to recognize the directors, especially the electoral area directors who are working extremely hard to provide relief to people during this pandemic. And, it's not lost on me either how much the electoral area directors really are sticking up for each of their particular areas and ensuring that we're being very conservative. We've sharpened our pencils, and so I appreciate the hard work on behalf of the regional district as a whole. So with that, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion passes. Next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving down to 7.1, we have the official community plan for Popcom Bridal Falls bylaw number 1501.
Thank you. Motion is moved by
Director Dickey.
Director Dickey.
Adamson, second.
Seconded by Director Adamson. Any discussion on the item? Director Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to thank Mr. Danilus and Ms. Hipwell especially, and all the planning department for shepherding our community through a very long and complicated processes. Worked out very well. The community seems very happy, and so I'd like to thank them again.
Great. Thank you, Director Dickey. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
7.2, we have zoning bylaw number 1597 for rezoning of 10789 North DeRoche Road in electoral area G to facilitate a single burial plot with an existing religious building.
Thank you. That's
Move
moved by
Stoller.
By Director Stobart and seconded by Director Raymond. Any discussion on the item? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
7.3, we have official community plan amendment bylaw number 1599 for electoral areas E and H.
Thank you. A mover and a seconder. Moved by
Dixon,
Director Dixon, seconded by Director Engar. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
7.4 is FVRD Electoral Area C Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw number 1621 and FVRD Electoral Area C Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1620 to facilitate the development of a film production facility. There's a motion for your consideration.
Thank you. It's moved by Director
Bales?
Bales.
Adamson seconds.
Seconded by Director Adamson. And any discussion?
Bales,
Yep, go ahead, Director
I
Bales.
in case the public is watching, I did have concerns from the public about this moving ahead too rapidly, but this is just the first reading, so just want to ensure them that it will be a fairly lengthy process and they'll have lots of time to read the details and participate, and either mail in or whether it's the whole process is different than normal, so just to assure them that there will be a process for it.
Great, thank you, Director Bales. Appreciate that commentary. And any other comments on this item? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
Moving down to section 8 of our agenda, Mr. Chair, this is where you read your script.
One day I will memorize this script, I think, but not today. Pursuant to Part 14, Division 9 of the Local Government Act, this is the opportunity for the FERD Board to hear from the public regarding the 2 development variance permits listed on the agenda for this meeting. Anyone who believes that their interests are affected by the proposed applications will be given an opportunity to speak. If you have any verbal comments with respect to these development variance permits and you are joining us by Zoom on a computer or a smart device, I'd ask you to please press the raise hand function. When it is your turn to speak, you'll be asked to unmute yourself. If you are joining us on Zoom by phone, please press *9, and this will notify staff that you wish to speak to the item. When you're prompted to unmute yourself, please press *6. Those of you wishing to speak are asked to begin your presentation by providing your name and address, which will be recorded and form part of the official record. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes and confine your remarks to the application at hand. Ms. Kinnaman.
8.1, we have development variance permit 2020-20 to vary the size requirements of an accessory building at 10146 Royalwood Boulevard in Electoral Area D.
Thank you, Ms. Kinnaman. And are there any public comments on this item?
So I do note that we have one member of the public who's joined us on our Zoom meeting tonight, Martin Beamond. Martin, if you have any remarks with respect to this DBP, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. And I believe it looks like we don't have, Martin is not wishing to speak to this matter.
Very good. And I don't see any other members of the public who've indicated they wish to speak to this item. So what is the board's wishes?
Dickey moves.
It's moved by Director
Second,
Dickey,
Adamson.
seconded by Director Adamson. Any comments or discussion? Seeing and hearing. Oh, go ahead, Director Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just like to thank the applicant for accommodating his neighbor's wishes and adapting his application to reflect that.
Thank you, Director Dickey. Any other comments? Hearing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. And next item, please, Ms. Kinnaman.
8.2, we have development variance permit 2020-25 to reduce the front setback from 6 meters to 4.5 meters for a single-family dwelling at 10080 Mountain View Road in electoral area F.
Thank you. And Ms. Vaness, we'll just check. Okay, if there are any comments from the public, we'll just give them an opportunity. Now would be the opportunity.
Wonderful. I do see that we still have Martin Beamont on the call. Martin, if you would like to speak to this item, this would be your opportunity, and you can just hit *6 to unmute yourself. We'll just give him a second here. And no, and he's actually left the call, so it would appear that we have no members of the public, so the board can proceed with this item.
Very good. And I believe Director Davidson indicated. So is there a mover and a seconder?
Adamson seconds.
Dixon.
Okay, I'll just double check with Director Davidson.
Move Davidson.
Very good. That's moved by Director Davidson and seconded by Director Adamson. And any discussion on the item? Hearing none, I'll call the. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Director Davidson.
Sorry, thank you, Chair. Just to let people know that I did receive a brief list of neighbors who are supporting the initiative, so it's all good from this end, and I'll support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Davidson. Any other comments on the application? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
Moving down to 9.1, this is an information item. It's our fourth quarter report with updates from our various departments. Happy to answer any questions. And of course, we have all of our staff on the line tonight, which could also answer any questions if you have them.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Kinnaman. And I have a question from Director Ross.
Well, not necessarily a question. I was just so pleased to see how successful the Food Mesh program has been, diverting, in case anybody from the public is watching, diverting 1.1 million kilograms of food. I'm wondering though if that should be added from landfill. I'm assuming that's what that means. I suppose this is already out, but you know, next time. Anyway, but 1.1 million kilograms created 1.5 million meals across the Fraser Valley and prevented 2.1 million kilograms of CO2 from entering the atmosphere. So great partnership. Thanks to everyone involved. And otherwise, it's an excellent report overall. Thank you.
Director Facio.
Thank you, Director Ross. And go ahead, Director Facio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to thank staff for a very informative bulletin there. It's extremely helpful when one is making, like I do, my reports at the council table to the public, and it's extremely useful. Thank you very much, and job well done. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Director Facio. Any other comments or questions from board directors? Hearing none. Just again, add my thanks and appreciation to the staff and all of the work that goes into these reports. I find them extremely helpful just to get a quick kind of a scan of all of the things that we're accomplishing quarter over quarter. And I think for the public, you know, that it provides a nice, succinct, really good looking document that for people who are interested in what we're up to at the regional district, they can quickly have a look. And so I really appreciate that as well. And hearing no other comments, next item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 9.2, we have the Regional Growth Strategy Updated Consultation Plan. There's a motion for your consideration.
Thank you. That's moved by Director Siemens, seconded by Director Ross. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
9.3 is the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream. So motion for your consideration and a couple of projects that we're hoping to get some grant funding on.
Move Facio.
Thank you. That's moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Popov. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
9.4 is the 2021 Christmas closure of the FBRD offices.
Thank you. Really
Move
getting me
Dixon.
in the Christmas spirit again, talking about Christmas.
Hang
Excellent.
on to it.
That's right. That's moved by Director Adamson, seconded by
Dixon.
Director Raymond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. I should have asked somebody how many more days until Christmas, but I'm not going to do that. Next item, please, Ms. Kinnaman.
9.5, we have the Agricultural Land Commission application for a 2-lot subdivision at 37071 Lougheed Highway in electoral area G.
Thank you. This is for EAs. I need a mover and a seconder.
Move Stobart.
Thank you. It's
Adamson seconds.
moved by Director Stobart, seconded by Director Adamson. Discussion. Don't hear any. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
Next is 9.6, another Agricultural Land Commission application for proposed subdivision lot line adjustment at 38332 Nacomin Island Trunk Road in electoral area G.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder.
Stobart.
Moved by Director Stobart,
Dixon.
seconded by Director Dixon. Discussion. Go
Stobart.
ahead, Director Stobart.
Yeah, just both these subdivision requests that are going to the ALC. I certainly I'm happy to see them going forward. They both are designed to try and keep families together on some very large farms. And that's been one of the issues over the number of years here. We have, aging out farmers and hoping their kids can take over and still be able to lend a hand and feel both supportive of their children and have a place to retire. So, but again, slightly different circumstances on both of them, but I'm glad to see that they're going forward.
Thank you, Director Stobart. Any other comments or questions on the item? Don't hear any or see any. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries. Next item.
Next item is 9.7. We have letter to UBCM recommending a permanent committee on emergency management. And before you seek motion for your consideration, I just wanted to speak to this just a little bit and acknowledge the hard work of Tarina College. Tarina has been sitting on the UBCM Flood and Wildfire Advisory Committee for the past number of months, or almost a year now, I think, and has been really valuable in advocating for our communities in terms of the impacts of emergencies and emergency management processes for the regional district. In particular, she has been working around the province with her fellow emergency program coordinators on this issue. And I have noted that a number of regional districts have taken up the mantle, if you will, and have similar letters like this one that are going to be going forward to make this request. The importance and the changes that are coming to the Emergency Program Act and emergency social services are important, and I want to make sure that we're right at the table so that we get have our voice heard.
Excellent.
So moved.
Thank you for the context. So I need a mover and a seconder, please. It's moved by Director Mercer, seconded by Director Popov. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 9.8, we have commercial lease of Cultus Lake Foreshore in electoral area H. There is a motion for consideration.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder, please.
Move Dixon.
It's moved by Director Dixon and seconded by
Adamson.
Director Adamson. Discussion.
Dixon.
Yep, go ahead, Director Dixon.
I'd just like to really thank Mr. Danilus for his work on this. So I certainly see the great deal of value in the report and the application that the Cultus Lake Park Board has submitted. And I'm also on the Water Safety Working Group Committee, I think it's called. We're trying to balance, water activities on Cultus Lake. So as far as the reduced speed zones and increased swim zones and things like that, I do support. My concern was with the language around restricting the public to along the front of the foreshore, not on the trail. I understand that, but there is a mention of restricting the public to just being at Main Beach and or Sunnyside Beach. And so this, in my view, is intended to clarify that the water and the docks and walking along the foreshore does remain public and all the time, and just maybe some language around closing the docks or giving the park board the ability to close the area from 11 till 6. From my view, it is a public lake, and I just have concerns if we start restricting areas that really the public are possibly not able to enter in. So I think this will cover that, or at least express the board's concerns if this is passed.
Thank you, Director Dixon. Any other comments or questions from board members on this item? Hearing none. Ready for the question? All in favor? Opposed, if any? The item carries. Next item.
Moving to 11.1, we have an information item from the Chilliwack River Residents Association Ambassador Program Report.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chair, if I may.
Yes, please, Director Engar.
I'd like to say a few words about it and answer any questions that may have come up, people reviewing this. I remember Mayor Alexa was quite interested at the time, so if there's anybody else, glad to try and answer. I just want to say that I listened to Dr. Henry the other day, and she was mentioning that as we get through these upcoming vaccination opportunities, she was asked the question whether it'd be appropriate to go to the Vancouver Island area from the mainland and visit family. And her reply was very guarded, and she, I'll paraphrase her, that she wanted people to still stay at home and stay in the local area. So what that's going to mean for the Chilliwack River Valley and Cultus Lake, again, I'm sure, is a huge influx of visitors as people stay home but want to get outside in the nice weather. So the impacts were, for anybody who wasn't aware of it or missed that, were huge. And this is what the Ambassador Program was addressing. Our local community volunteers did a great job, and they would hand out flyers and they would communicate with the public from a distance, even during the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, they're out there doing this work. Really got to hand it to them. We would be lost without them, frankly. So this, in my mind, is a prime example of why electoral areas should substantially participate in the COVID-19 relief funding. Ongoing funds available. I'm going to try my best to find sources of funding to expand the program, but we really rely on the tremendous efforts of volunteers to such an extent that I don't know how sustainable it is into the future, but we have to find solutions to maintain a program like this ongoing, even after COVID-19, as visitor counts just keep on increasing in our area. So happy to take any questions if directors have them.
Thank you, Director Engar, and thanks for the update on this program. Director Siemens.
Very good.
Thank you. As somebody that loves to use a lot of those trails in the valley, I think it's an amazing program. And I know over on Vancouver Island, they have something similar in some of the regional parks that were having a challenge with break-ins. And they had an ambassador program quite similar to that. I'm just wondering, is there a charitable foundation or something that people could donate to that would assist in some of that? These community-run organizations, I think if more people that are using the Chilliwack River Valley knew about where they could give, those types of things, I think a lot of people would voluntarily give some money towards that program, because it's a beautiful part of our corner of the world, and anything that we can do to help keep it that way. So I'm just wondering, has that been looked at, or is there something set up through the regional district where we could even donate? I know sometimes we can take donations at the city and get charitable tax receipts. I'm wondering if something like that is possible.
I think through the chair, I think it's a great idea. I haven't pursued that at all, but I would certainly be all ears if somebody wants to pull me around by the nose and how to make that happen. I think you're probably correct that there would be an appetite, and how to make that happen would be front and center. I think it's, I'm all ears.
Maybe I'll jump in because the Chilliwack, I know there's the Chilliwack River, the cleanup folks that are doing lots of work up there as well. And I know
They rely on grant and aid every year.
Yeah, and they've been doing some donation, some fundraising for some storage utility, I think. And we had this, we had some of these same questions at the city of Chilliwack. So maybe Director Enger will touch base with each other and have a bit of a discussion and see, because there may be some nonprofit foundations already set up that's ready to go and could administer some of that work. But
that would be much appreciated, Chair. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and I'll look forward to talking with you more about that.
Director Facio?
Yeah, go ahead, Director Facio.
Just a question through you, Mr. Chairman, to staff. Would the restart COVID eligible amount of funds that we've all received, would that be, could any of that be allocated to this sort of thing or not?
Through the chair to Director Facio, I'd have to look into that. The requirements around the funding were very specific to revenue shortfalls that were incurred by the regional district. We could certainly have an offline conversation with our chief financial officer. I know that she has had extensive meetings with provincial representatives around what would qualify as an eligible expense. But certainly we could do something offline to talk about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Bales, I saw you unmuted your line there. Did you have a comment or wish to speak?
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to say my appreciation to some of the ATV clubs as well that do a lot of cleanup in my area, and we donate free garbage service for that, but it's really appreciated that they do the work for free, and well needed, definitely very needed. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Director Bales. And one last thing, Director Enger, for just on this topic. I know one of our colleagues in the city of Chilliwack, Councillor Jeff Shields, was sending around some information today around, I guess, the Lower Mainland LGA resolutions. There's a call for resolutions, and he is looking at perhaps putting together a resolution kind of regarding some of the illegal dumping and some of the stuff that's going on in the backcountry. So I will connect the dots with both yourself and him on that item.
Excellent. Thank you, Chair.
And thank you, Councillor. That's what I was gonna say, the same sort of thing. So I appreciate you bringing that forward, and I'm sure there's a lot of groups in Chilliwack would like to help you out as well. So let's all work together. It's all good.
Adamson.
Go ahead, Director Adamson.
I think since it's going to LMLGA, I think all the electoral directors should get in touch with Jeff, because we all have the same problem, every one of us.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, the topic of definitely the topic of illegal dumping and stuff is top of mind. So yeah, I will get that circulated. Don't see any other questions. So next item, Ms. Kinnaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving to reports by staff. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge our very own Jamie Van Ness, who recently was awarded the Certified Municipal Clerk designation through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. I think I got that right. This is, sort of the highlight of any clerk or administrative officer's role in local government. It requires extensive education as well as work experience in order to qualify. And we received word just at the beginning of the year here that Ms. Van Ness is now a CMC. So I am confident that she will continue to keep us on the straight and narrow and make sure that all of our procedural operations are in check. Otherwise, she's going to send me a text and tell me that we're not. So congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. And that must be a heck of a annual general meeting, the International Institute of
Municipal clerk.
Certified Municipal Clerks. Excellent. Jamie, I just appreciate all your work. And, you know, there have been many times when I also get the text keeping me on the straight and narrow as well. So very much appreciate all your hard work. And it's usually done in the background without much fanfare. And I know you like it that way, but you know what? Nice to be able to celebrate your achievement. So congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. It's my pleasure to serve the board and to continue doing that.
Okay, and any other reports from staff, Ms. Kinnaman?
No, now we would just move down to reports by board directors.
Thank you. And directors, now's your opportunity.
Sure.
Okay, so I've got Director Raymond.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, I just wanted to say it wasn't ostriches tonight, but just before the meeting started, I did get a call about a bobcat running loose and they wanted me to do something about it. And in response to your question earlier, it's 330 days, 4 hours, 30 minutes, and about 10 seconds till Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Raymond. And for those of you who aren't aware what Director Raymond's talking about, in a meeting with our MLAs this week, Director Raymond had to rush out of the meeting with MLAs to help a resident with an ostrich attack. So, you know, electoral area directors are really Jacks and Jills of all trades. And this is just one of them, wrangling ostriches. So well done, Director Raymond. I think you definitely impressed the MLAs on the call. Director Dixon, you had a report?
I did. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Raymond, we've got a bobcat running around here too. So, you know, they must be all over. I just wanted to let the board know that I did come to my attention that a former director for Area E, which was now E and H, but it was E at the time, Frank Sobkowicz. He did pass away just before Christmas from cancer, it looks like. And so Frank was one of the people instrumental for flood mitigation and starting up emergency management plans for our area. And so I certainly want to take this time to pass along our condolences to his family. Also to thank Ms. Van Ness for her help gathering up a little information, and a donation has been made from FERD to the Cancer Fund. So I just thought some of you might know Frank and wanted to be informed of that. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Director Dixon, and certainly we send our condolences. Director Ross.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to let the board know that I've been asked to do a presentation to the Rotary Club of Abbotsford about this fabulous organization, the FERD. And if anybody's interested in tuning in to see how shamelessly I brag about all of you, it's going to be February 4th at 7 p.m.
Fantastic, and thank you, Director Ross, for taking on that presentation. I really appreciate it. Director Bale.
I should add a thanks to Ms. Kinnaman as well for putting it together. So thanks to her.
Excellent. And Director Bales.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if February was when Staff Dick was going to be leaving the building. It's hard to know because there's hardly anybody in the building anymore, and we're not in the building very often either. But I seem to remember he was going to stay on till February. And I just wanted to convey my appreciation for the work he's done as staff. and I really appreciated working with him when we were still in person anyway. I haven't seen him for a long time, so I just want to wish him well in his next endeavor.
Through the chair to Director Bales, just to let you know, thank you for that. And we will definitely let everyone know when any of the staff, especially the ones that you interact with regularly, are departing. In fact, we, due to the transition and operational needs, we've managed to keep Reg on for a little bit longer here. So he won't be working full time, but he's been very gracious in extending his retirement date, his resignation date, to help with that transition, moving over to a protective services model. So I will keep you posted when he actually leaves the building.
Okay, I just remembered February was the time he was leaving, but
That's right.
haven't heard anything or seen anything since, because we're hardly in the building and staff is quite often not in the building. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Bales. Any other reports? Director Lowen, go ahead.
Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that as of the last 2 weeks at least, our new courthouse is now occupied and active with legal cases of all sorts and kinds, and we're very proud of its initiation. Just as a trivial point related to that, our present, or the old courthouse, was built in 1967, the old two-court room house, and they will be officially out of there at the end of this month. And then, of course, it's left to our creative juices to decide what to do with that building and that property. But nonetheless, we're very happy and proud that finally, after all these years, and I might add, in my very first term on council in 2005, I recall going on a tour with Mayor Ferguson, and MLA de Jong took us on a tour of a number of remand centers because it was imminent that we were going to get a new courthouse. That was in 2005. And we were shopping around for what would be just right for Abbotsford. Well, here we are 16 years later, and we finally got the courthouse. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Lowen. Any other reports from board directors?
Adamson.
Go ahead, Director Adamson.
It's pretty quiet out in Area B, but I was up at the Tasmania Museum on the weekend, and I was talking to Ryan, who's the executive there, and they managed to bring the kindergarten building over, and they went way over cost because of the condition of the building. So he's getting estimates right now on how much it'll be to finish the project. But it's exciting. It's very exciting. I also would like to wish Director Bales happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday, Wendy.
Thank you, Director Adamson, and happy birthday, Director Bales.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other reports from board directors? I don't see or hear any. So next item, Ms. Kinnaman.
So now we move to public question period for items relevant to the agenda. As has been our practice, we have encouraged the public to submit their questions via email prior to the meeting, or they may join the meeting. Ms. Van Ness, do we have anybody on the line at this time?
No, we do not have any members of the public online with us this evening, and we have not received any email questions.
Terrific. So, Mr. Chair, that would move to resolution to close the meeting.
Thank you. It's moved by Director Facio, seconded by Director Dixon.
Adamson.
All in favor? Opposed, if any, the item carries.